Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sideline Shenanigans. My name is Brian. I have Coach Chad Zolman here. Coach, how's it going today?
Very good. Very good.
Good. All right, I'm going to jump right into it. All right.
All right.
What got you to coaching high school football?
I, I was fortunate enough to play college football at Taylor University, so I have a love for the game, and I went into education as a major, and then really enjoyed working with young men, and I enjoy teaching too. So working with people was kind of where I fit, and then I wanted to stay in the game, and so I was able to do that through high school football, and I jumped in with into the game then. It's been a long time ago, but that's how I got into it.
You've been at Homestead for 22 years. I've never met a coach that's been at a school for 20 plus years. How how do you feel? Do you feel like you're like, yeah, I'm the biggest fan here, you know?
No, I don't feel like that at all. I was here 5 years before I became head coach. So it's been 27.
Wow.
And then, so it's been a long time at this school. I was 7 years at Bishop Dwenger. I coached all 7 there. So, I've been doing this for a long time. So, I've been very fortunate. It's a great school. I got into a very good situation, and I've been surrounded by a lot of really good coaches and really good players. And so I've been very fortunate throughout that time to enjoy some success, not because of anything special I've done, but a lot of the people around me have been great. So that's part of it.
What's your core coaching philosophy?
Well, high school athletics is intended to be an extension of the education system. And so we get to teach some lessons that you don't necessarily get to teach in the classroom necessarily. That's what's attracted us, and the competitiveness of the game, and staying in the Friday night lights, and all that means. And I hope to make that a good experience for all the kids. And but that is the core. It is an education. And so how do we educate? Well, a lot of character lessons. They got a lot of great life lessons for these young men that I don't necessarily see them getting anywhere else. And so, how to handle success, how to handle failure, how to set some goals, how to be dedicated to something bigger than yourself, and to live for something bigger than yourself. And those are all great life lessons when you get out of high school. And so, when you're done with the game, those are things that will carry you. So that's why I believe in this. And I think we can have a good positive impact on these kids, and hopefully make better citizens of them down the road.
How do you adjust your defense when facing dual threat quarterbacks?
You have to be sound, and if it's special athlete back there, then you've got to make sure that you're accounting for the ability for that quarterback to make plays when things break down. And so, we've done a lot of different things. We've faced a lot of really mobile quarterbacks who can throw, and so some of the things we've done, we've put a spy on him. We put a good athlete across from him, and just mirror him. If he comes close to the line of scrimmage, and our guy, that's how we've taught it. We mirror him, and then we've also adjusted our pass rush. So, if you can't run past really good scrambling quarterbacks and guys that can run, and so we've adjusted and tried to collapse the pocket more as a unit instead of trying to beat people one-on-one, things like that. Just little things, and they are a problem because you can defend well and still give up plays, because that guy can make you miss and make things happen on a breakdown. So it's a challenge.
Absolutely. What's your approach to player mental health?
It's well, it's important, so we have to do these certifications as a coaches now, and one of them is suicide and watching things like that. So I think it's an awareness of behavior of kids. So we have to know our kids, and that's my position coaches. I put that upon them. We have a large number of kids that play, and so I can't build relationships with all of them. So our assistant coaches do a great job of that. So they have to be conscious of the emotional and state of each player, and we try to take that into account. But at the same time, we preach mental toughness all the time, and there's lots of opportunities for adversity in football, and how are you going to handle it? And it's a microcosm of how you handle adversity in life, and so we would hope that we're teaching these kids to handle it with some toughness and some perseverance and things like that. But we try to be conscious of how our kids are mentally and emotionally, and try to pay attention to those things. And to get the best out of your kids, you have to build relationships with them, and that's true in any situation. And so for them to be coachable and for you to be relatable to them, that's a really important thing. And when you know your athletes like that, I think it really helps you deal with those types of things.
How do you game plan against a wing T?
Well, that's a good question. There's some basic things that you have to stop and be aware of. But these are really good wing T coaches, have answers for every defense that you can come up with. So I think honestly, the playing defense is about being able to defeat blocks and then go make plays, and schematically you have to stay sound in structure. But at the end of the day, if your kids can't get off blocks and make plays, it really offensively, you're going to struggle to stop anybody. And the wing T, you have to be very sound. It's like playing a triple option team too. You have to be super sound and assignment conscious at all times, and you can't, because one little mistake and they're scooting down the sideline, or they're running a trap for 100 yards or whatever, So
Right.
It's just something I think, and that's true about any offense you play. You're going to have to play sound and a good assignment, sound football to beat teams that are well coached in what they do.
Okay. Do you prepare any trick plays for like special occasions, or are you not that type of coach?
Yeah, we always carry some. Do we run them all? No, but we practice some and have some in the bank. And if the situation arises and the right time to run it, we'll pop one or now and then. But you have to set those things up, and some of those plays you can run once a year, because every team after that's going to have it prepared for it and have a key on it. So
Right.
so we try to bank a few and use them if the opportunity knocks.
What's the most underutilized personnel package in high school football?
Personnel package. Well, the beauty, there's not a lot that's not used in high school football. And I think that's one of the challenges of being a coach at the high school level is week in and week out, you're going to face a lot of different offenses. And, like a wing T, you're going to face a spread. You're going to face maybe a true triple option, or, an academy style option. You'll see, there's some offenses out there that are hard to handle just because you don't see them. Noblesville ran for years. Last few years, they run a single wing offense in a phone booth type thing, And,
Right.
So personnel, I think, is dictated by your players. And so, if you've got a lot of big thumpers and you want a power football, you run a lot of 21 or 22 personnel. And we try to be multiple. We'll have tight end H-back sets. We'll have completely go spread and empty, and we hopefully give a lot of people a lot of things to prepare for. So we use quite a different. We don't have traditional under center pro style fullback tailback type formations anymore, but they're making a comeback. I've seen
Oh yeah,
more of that style recently than it's kind of cyclical too. I think defenses adjusted the spread, and so now to take advantage of how they're doing, I think it'll go back to some more power football and a little bit. Offensive coaches are smarter today than they've ever been. It is harder to stop a good offense than it ever has been.
absolutely.
Especially since I first started coaching. So, it's there's a lot of personnel, and I think you have to fit that to who's on your team.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What's your method handling double teams on the D line?
First and foremost, you have to hold your spot, and that's what I think every coach hold your spot. And if you can't get down and cause a mess, and then what they want to do and what we want to do, same thing on offense, is on a double team, you want to create a push, either vertically, depending on the scheme, or horizontally, whatever it might be. But you want to create some space. And so to defeat that, our goal is to maintain your spot. Now we've got techniques on that. We attack one man and post up another, like a basketball player. So your hands on one and your butt and your back are on against another one. And so we work on that quite a bit because we run an odd front in our nose guard. In fact, a lot of our up front guys will get double teams. So we scheme that, and that's an everyday drill for our defensive linemen for sure. But main thing is to hold your position so the linebackers can run and we can get to our gaps and fill properly. But that's it.
What's the biggest schematic mistake you have ever made?
Schematic? Oh, boy. That's a good question. It's after the fact you find out that maybe you weren't sound against a certain formation, or they've surprised you in a game with a certain formation and you didn't get it figured out for a series or two. That's happened before. And so, there's some halftime adjustments that we've had to make and things like that. But schematically, we try to stay, on defense, we try to stay gap sound. Offense, just, if you're a zone team, you're pretty much a zone team. If you're a man blocking team, and your assignments have to be proper and they have to execute. And our coaches have done a good job of that. So I feel like when we prepare for a game, our schemes are pretty good. But there have been times where we look back at a game and evaluate and say that we should have done things differently. And so we learn every game a little bit, and especially against different offenses, what to do and what not to do. But we certainly have blown it and gotten beat up with some stuff that we've tried before and had to adjust. But I can't think of anything specific right now.
Oh, that's fine. How do you help kids grow off the field?
Well, football, when I first started playing, it was basically we did a little bit of work in the summer, and then football season kicked in, and then you were kind of on your own until next summer, and so from that point, football is year round now. If you're not in season, then you are in off season, then preseason, and then it just never stops. And so mainly it's in the weight room. So we are conscious of character development, and our coaches are. We spend a lot of time, and we're doing leadership meetings right now before school. We have a 6-week series on it, and so we try to develop these young men in a way that they'll leave better men than when they started. And so when we say grow, we're talking about physically. There's constantly in the weight room. There's just no really break from the weight room. mentally and emotionally, those types of things. We try to train them in what it means to be men of character, and ethics. And we speak specifically on very specific things. What does it mean to be committed? What does it mean to be a person of integrity and to be a man of your word, and to and all the little things that go along with that, being to practice on time, being good teammates to each other, and so we're treating others with respect outside of football. All of those things. Those are important, and we're constantly talking about those. And so we try to develop in all the players in a lot of different levels.
Okay. How do you respond to selfish play or stat chasing?
Well, that's inevitably you're going to have to deal with things like that. And so one of the things I think that if we're developing character, they don't play this game for themselves. They play this game for their teammates. And so when that is your emphasis and you're playing for your brothers on the field, that takes care of those things. And when it becomes apparent that they don't care about those things, then they don't play. And they'll sit with us until they figure it out, and we'll explain it to them why and all those types of things. But that's something we preach in practice. That's something we preach all the time outside the season. And this is not about an individual. They should celebrate every success with their teammates. If they score a touchdown, it's because 10 other guys did the right thing, helped do the right thing. When they have a big sack, it's not a one-man show to get a sack, it's so we constantly preach that. That's the greatest thing about football. For you to be successful, it takes 11 guys doing their job.
Absolutely.
So that's really what we talk about. And and we have conversations like, if we won a game and you're the starting running back and you had 15 carries for 20 yards and no touchdowns, would you still be as happy as if you had lost the game and had a 200-yard rushing day with 3 touchdowns? And that was just an example. We talk about those types of things. What should make you happy with this team? It's not your own success; it's success of the team, regardless of what happens stat-wise for you. So those are things that we definitely do talk about. And that's not easy for anybody. Everybody wants to shine and to, but the best way to shine is through a team, and the standouts will be apparent because of the success of the team. And so they've got to learn that, and that's a lesson that we have to teach year in and year out.
What advice do you give to freshmen just starting out, just starting to play football, haven't touched the game? What's your best advice to them?
If they've never played, is that what you mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's tough coming in as a freshman. We get a few of them that want to try football. Our coaches have to be cognizant of that, because it is not natural for a human to run as fast as they can into another human being. It's not. That's something that that kids have to get used to, and we're trying to develop that from first grade up, and we don't tackle in first and second grade for our program, but it takes a long time for people to understand, and it hurts. Honestly, you get tackled, it hurts. When you tackle somebody, sometimes it hurts. So there's some pain involved with this. This is like wrestling and other sports too. So it takes them a while to adjust to that and the contact, and so our coaches have to be cognizant of it, and they have to bring them along slowly. If they've never played, when we're speaking a play, it's like a foreign language to them. And so, we have to start from scratch and make sure, if they've never, that we explain maybe even the positions on the field. And we've done that before, and it's tough starting out as a freshman if you've never played the game, but we do try to accommodate for those kids, because sometimes, by the end of the year, they're rolling and they'll stick with it. And That's important that we maintain kids and keep these kids out for this game.
Mm-hmm. Coach, all right. What's your favorite game day snack or meal?
I honestly, I don't eat. I have lunch, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I'm still nervous after all these years. I get nervous on Friday nights, so I don't really eat until after the game. And so I'll have a snack. Maybe I drink iced tea, a lot of iced tea. So it'll be an iced tea and maybe some sort of I don't know, those little snack bars or
Yeah.
whatever. But that's about all I'll eat before a game, unless it's a long trip. But usually just
Mhm.
wait till after the game to eat.
What's your favorite sports movie quote?
Ooh, movie quote. Oh well, it's Remember the Titans, one of my best films, and he says, "Leave no doubt." Uh, that's one of my favorite quotes right there. It's just if we can go make a statement and leave no doubt of who played better that night, that's what we want to do.
Do you have a pregame ritual like that you do on game day?
Like for the team or personally.
Personally.
Um, I we don't we don't plan anything for kids on Fridays before games. So not a lot of coaches will do like a walkthrough and things like that. We let them go home and relax. We tell them what to eat and make sure they're hydrated, things like that. And for me, I'll come home and um, I usually, if I can, try to get something done. I try to stay busy at home. So if there's if there's chores that have been neglected during the week that I need
Mhm.
to get done, I'll try to get that done before the game because it keeps my mind occupied. And um, so I'm not, we just spent Saturday through Thursday in preparation. So if I'm not ready and the kids aren't ready by Friday, then we're in trouble. And so my philosophy is after Thursday night's practice, um, the hay's in the barn, and we're gonna play and let her rip. So I try to keep my mind occupied if I can, and then work my way over there about an hour and a half or 2 hours before the game starts. And there's some things when I get there that I always do. I print off um, a play sheet or I print off some things for
Mhm.
other coaches, some special teams things, and things like that. Just make sure that coaches have the things that they need for the evening and things like that. So I've got a list of things I go through once I get into the office.
Mhm. What's your go-to halftime speech line?
That varies. I don't have a single one. I something we preach to them, and we'll talk about this on game days a lot. And I'll bring it up pregame, halftime. Is whoever plays the hardest, the longest usually wins. And so it's about effort and execution. But honestly, there are times where we have wilted and gotten beat, and we've seen other teams wilt before us and win. We win. And so if you can just be relentless and persistent and playing with high execution and great effort, then good things will happen. And so whoever plays the hardest, the longest wins. I use that one a lot.
All right. If you weren't coaching football, what would you be doing?
When I was in high school, I took this. What do they call it? A career assessment thing, and it said something like construction or a bus driver. And so I'm not sure. Uh, I think it would have to be doing something with people. I think I'm geared that way, and but I would assume that I'd still be in education somewhere. I do have my principal's license. I haven't used it. I have not become, but that would be maybe an administration somewhere in a school, or that's probably what fits me best. I think.
Okay. Okay. Um, what's your biggest pet peeve as a coach?
Hmm. Excuses. I- you know, uh, and our kids, they know that they don't give us a lot of. And film, the great thing about football is the film doesn't lie, and so we're going to ask them during a game, what's did you do this, this, and this, and they better honestly answer, because then we'll soon find out, if that was true. So, but if they come off and say, are complaining or have excuses for not executing, that sets me and my staff off. And so that's a pet peeve. If you see the hands like this on the field, see that? If you get those hands up, that drives me crazy. I don't like that at all. So that's another little pet peeve of mine. Oh, one other one. If we call a special team or punt or extra point, and we have a guy going out there late, it really irritates me to death. And so there'll be some reminders on Monday if that happens on a Friday, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you were to have a meal with any coach, past or present, who would it be?
Ooh. Probably Lou Holtz. I mean, there's a whole list. I could give you a whole list, but I've listened to Lou Holtz. He's got some motivational tapes and things like that I've listened to. And so if I could sit down with a meal and have a pen and pad and just say, give me all of your knowledge on DB play, or give me all of your knowledge, how would you train whatever position, I think he would be really good to sit and listen to. There's a lot, though. I mean, there's so many good coaches that I would love to sit down and talk with like that.
Here's one coach. He's actually a high school coach. I would love to sit down and just have a conversation with him. Do you know who Bud Wright is?
Yes. I know everybody knows who's Bud Wright.
Everybody knows. Yeah. I asked somebody one time, do you know who Bud Wright is? And this is one of my friends. He was like, who? I was like, dude, you grew up in the same area, because we're around all different schools.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Bud Wright, the most winningest high school football coach in Indiana.
Yep.
Everybody knows who he is.
He's up there in the nation, not just Indiana. Yeah. It's an amazing one. And he's still successful. All these years he's still putting out successful teams. It's impressive.
Mm-hmm. I would just love to sit down, talk to him, pick his brain a little bit.
Yep. Yeah.
Definitely.
That'd be great. I've met him a couple times. Yep.
How do you encourage film study in the off season?
We don't do much with the kids as far as film study in the off season. Our coaches will do more of that, and more of like a self-assessment on defense and offense and special teams. And then we'll start prepping and looking at teams that we'll face during the year a little bit in the off season too. But as far as kids go, we're more concerned during the season that they are on film than we are in the off season. So it's not something we prioritize.
Do you do 7-on-7 tournaments at all?
We do one a year.
One a year?
Yeah, and that's in the summer. So we have we could probably do another one, but you get 12 practices in the summer, and that would count as one of them, and it leaves your linemen out of the picture. So if your linemen don't get work, and they've included some of these 7-on-7s will include some work for the linemen too. But we feel like you get half the team if you're not.
Absolutely.
In 7-7 is fun, it's fun for the kids, but the reality is it's not football, and it's you got linebackers dropping 30 yards and not doing any read steps on runs, and so it's truly its own sort of a sport in a way, but it's good for receivers and quarterbacks get on the same page and rhythm. It's good for DBs and safeties to see route, run our coverages versus different route packages. And so that's not necessarily bad, but the game's different when you're lined up with somebody trying to tackle you as a quarterback, and when you're
absolutely
and you got to stop the run on defense too, so it's a different show.
All right, Coach, my final question for tonight is, how do you connect with your school and community to build support?
That's a challenge. We're in a situation in Fort Wayne where there are 10 schools, within 20 minutes. And so it's not a one horse show. It's like Indy here,
Right.
it's one of those. So you have to build your own community within Fort Wayne, and all the schools are trying to do the same thing. So that's something we're constantly working on. And our athletic director and I were just having a conversation about that. And we're starting our own youth league this year, brand new youth league. So we've been, fortunate enough to have PAL, which is the Police Athletic League, has been a good feeder. But, when I studied other schools and 6A that we have to compete against, they all have great feeders that feed directly. And there's a connection between the school and those. So one of the things I think we can do to build community is that. And I think we can start incorporating our Homestead football from first grade through 12th grade, and if we start
Absolutely
having a brand like that, and I think we can help with the parents, bring the parents along. And so that's the goal. And we'll hope that there's a play. We're starting it this year. We hope there's a payoff in, 6 years that we get to see that things are starting to trend the right way. So that's always a challenge. We want those stands full. We want it to be an event on Friday night. And I know, like, there's local schools around us that have their own one school in town, right? So what do you do on Friday night? You go to a ball game. That's
absolutely.
great. We want that sort of feel here at Homestead too. So we're constantly working on that.
All right, Coach. I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
I'm Brian Jones. He's Coach Chad Zolman. Thank you for listening.
All right. Thanks for having me.
At Sideline Shenanigans, we celebrate everything about the game: grit, grind, and glory. But behind the jerseys and Friday Night Lights, there's something way more important: your life. Mental health is just as real and critical as any injury you can see. And when the pressure feels too heavy or the pain gets too quiet, know this: you are not alone. We lose far too many teammates, classmates, and friends to suicide. One life lost is one too many. If you're struggling, speak up. If you see someone hurting, reach out. Asking for help doesn't make you weak. It shows strength beyond the scoreboard. You matter, your story matters, and there is help. Call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, 24/7. No shame, just support. We are all on the same team when it comes to mental health. Let's have each other's backs on and off the field. Thank you.